came on here and asked, what is black joy? And y'all decided to answer that question. Y'all decided to answer that question. Y'all can't keep nothing to yourself. So I'm going to answer the question now. I want you to sell your parents and grandparents and put them into slavery. I want you to take your sisters and brothers, cousins, and have people hang them from a tree. I want you to have your kids be sold into slavery. I want this to happen for 400 years. 400 years. I want you to fight for your freedom, or try to fight for your freedom. I want you to fight for it and only get equal rights, as they will call it. I want you to understand everything that you do will excel, but the people above you will not allow you to excel. So they steal from you, they take from you, and they plan it as their own. I want you to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting until you feel you have no more fight anymore. And that's when your black joy will come. Have a good day.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back yet again to another episode. So I hope you're doing fine from whichever part of the world you're watching this from. And yeah, let's get right into it. So there's this Asian woman who comes out and expresses her happiness in the black joy. And she posts a question to us, to the internet, to the social media. I came through her channel when I was going through TikTok, and I saw the video she posted. I saw the comments that were made on it, and how different people reacted to that video. So it's a question that we can ask ourselves. What does black joy mean to you? What comes into mind when you think about black joy, or when you hear about this word? So why does this black joy bother some people? And it more especially some white folks, racist white people. They normally are triggered by this white joy, and I know why. Your guess must be as good as mine. But before we answer all these questions, let's have a look at these few clips and then have a really quick discussion at the end of it all.
Black Africans and Black Caribbeans and Black Americans are different. Black Africans and Black Caribbeans are closer, almost identical. They have high, and I'm generalizing now, but generalization is pretty accurate. They have high self-esteem and lower levels of confidence. Black Americans have higher levels of confidence and lower levels of self-esteem. Because of slavery lasted here longer, it was turned into a business, and it was an intentional desire to destroy your spirit, because if they had this black man here, coming here with all that build and all that brawn from, by the way, they say they went to Africa, oh, we're dumb, we're stupid. Knock that off. 1500s was an agricultural age. The wealthiest gold in America, in the world, were cotton crops and sugar crops and tobacco crops, which are in areas which were very humid, very hot, and the soil was almost dead. Who could master dead soil? Africans. So they went halfway around the world to find the geniuses of the soil. They brought us halfway around the world because we could build wealth for them and income. But they didn't need this brother's attitude. They needed his body. So they separated from his family, so he had no hope. They abused his wife and held him down so he couldn't protect her, until he gave up his self-esteem. Now he's just machinery. So now, 400 years later, we never healed. So if I don't like me, I'm not going to like you. If I don't feel good about me, I'm not going to feel good about you. If I don't respect me, don't expect me to respect you. If I don't love me, I don't have a clue how to love you. And here's the big one. If I don't have a purpose in my life, I'm going to make your life a living hell. Whatever goes around, comes around. So we have high confidence, Jerome, because we've competed and succeeded against all odds in the biggest economy on the planet. So we have high confidence because we're competent, but we have low self-esteem, which is why you have crab in the barrel. It's why somebody's sitting there going, what is he talking about? My life? Why would anybody have anything with something positive to say right now? So if you got a problem with me, you need to check yourself. I don't even know you. So, as Quincy Jones once said, not 1 ounce of my self-esteem depends on your acceptance of me. So it's okay if you don't like me, I like me. Now, Black African, y'all, come on now, we having church in here. Now, Black Africans and Caribbeans experience slavery lower for a shorter period of time, and they experience family structure and role modeling for a longer period of time. The mayor was Black. The governor was Black. The premier was Black. The dentist was Black. The barber was Black. The thief was Black. Everybody was Black. Together families. So they have higher self-esteem, but they have lower confidence because they didn't succeed in a market economy. It makes perfect sense. So that's why when Black Africans or Caribbeans come here, within 2 or 3 years, they're killing it. Yet the Ethiopians in Washington, D.C., they're at the Park Hyatt parking the cars. Within a couple of days, they've hired the buddies to be valets. Within a few weeks, they're also the taxi drivers. Within a couple months, they put the money in for an Uber car. Now they got a Black car. Now they got 3 Black cars. Now they live together. Now they have their entire staff at the front of the lobby. They have the valets. They got the taxi. They got the Ubers. They're willing to rent you an apartment if you want one. I mean, but that's because the hustle was the only ingredient that they missed, the opportunity. Black people, Black Americans are the role models for the world. But we've got a little bit confused because we think that's enough. We're also depressed. I think that 70% of Black Americans clinically undiagnosed depressed. And I can't prove that number. I love number. I can't prove that one. Whenever I talk to somebody, our people in a real conversation, can I get an amen? So when we're having a real conversation, we just have to heal so we can deal. Now, if we can heal, which is real wealth, and heal ourselves and love ourselves, now we can have a relationship. Now, in a relationship, it's the only time where it should be multiplication and not math. So if a relationship, if 2 + 2 does not equal 6, 8, or 10, what are you doing? If you're not better together, what are you doing? When you go to the club tonight, what's tonight? Tonight's Saturday. When you go to the club tonight, what's tonight? Friday. Entrepreneurs, we work 18 hours, they keep getting a job. We can work 18 hours and 6, and we have a nap for 3 hours, for 6 hours, that's it. So yeah, I don't know what day it is. You go to the club tonight? Oh man, she's fine. Oh, he's so handsome. What's your name? Oh, what's your credit score? And I'm only partially joking. After the looks fall away and the body falls away, that's your business partner for life. 2 + 2 should equal 6, 8, or 10. If you're not better together, what are you doing? So this thing we're talking about is about self-esteem is the entire ball game. If we can't fix this, we're done. No one else can hurt us, will hurt us. If we can fix this, I believe we will and we are. No one can stop us.
Why is it that Black people just existing in a positive, happy, or joyful state bothers y'all so much? If you want to have an event to celebrate the resilience of the white community or the Hispanic community, then go ahead and organize one. Like, do white people and Hispanic people not have their own holiday observances to be worried about? Like, why are you worried about? All we're trying to do is honor the Black folks who have led the charge for Black liberation and to honor the sacrifices made by political prisoners for our freedom. Black August started in 1979 in San Quentin when the Black guerrilla family was looking for a way to honor the sacrifices of George Jackson and Jonathan Jackson, who were key figures in the Black liberation struggle. they decided the best way to honor these people was to engage in political education. It's a month-long opportunity for Black folks to refocus in on the community by doing some self-study, fasting from media that is not about Black people. It's a time for community building, a time for advocacy around the issues that are most impacting the Black community. And I said it before, but above all, making sure that our community is politically educated. If y'all had genuine interest, y'all could literally do exactly the same thing in your own community, but that would require interest in political education. That would require the ability for advocacy, that will require the ability to community build and the ability to acknowledge the contributions your elders have made to liberation. But y'all don't even want to do none of that. You just want to sit on your ass and complain about what Black people are doing.
You say that all whites are racist. Can you expound on that, please?
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority.
Jane did a really good job here. Let's talk about her point on if you're not racist, it's a miracle. If it sounds crazy to you, it's not. In the United States, we learn through a white male perspective. The history books that we read are written by white men. The media that we consume have been written by white men, is currently controlled by white men. It affects our subconscious thinking. Because Americans are forced to view the world through a white male perspective, we are consuming the white male's perspective on the truth. We're not consuming the neutral truth. Another special thing about what Jane presented here is this lack of blame. She's not blaming the average American. She's not saying, oh, hey, you're a bad person. She's simply explaining how unbelievably unlikely it would be to be American, raised in the American school system, and to not be subconsciously racist. It's just really, really, virtually impossible. It would be miraculous. Remember that word she used, miracle. We're raised by the white male perspective. It will still affect all of us. By acknowledging the effect, whether we're purposely racist or not, we're able to address it thoughtfully.
I've come to the conclusion that a lot of white people are irritated by Black joy. I was thinking about when Kamala was running for president, Vice President Kamala Harris was running for president, and the Republicans made so much of her laughter. It obviously agitated them so much that she was joyful and would laugh, that it was like they wanted to put out her light. And I've had a few instances that I've mentioned. One just yesterday, again with some Black girlfriends at dinner, out enjoying ourselves, laughing, not loud, but joyful, having great conversation. And this woman behind us had such a scowl. She could not enjoy her own meal because she was so fixated on us. And I know that last time I've mentioned stuff like this, white women, would say, or people would come in my comments and say, oh, y'all would just be acting inappropriately. That's why they were looking, which we weren't, because of course always the blame has to be on us. And it's not far-fetched to be truthful about your resentment of other people's joy. And because you can't grow unless you're truthful about what you need to work on. I remember being in stores and out and about and seeing white kids running around and acting in a way that, would have gotten me in trouble when I was a child. And I felt resentful because I felt like they had the freedom to do it. And I was so strict with my to young Black boys because, you know, I believe there's a pressure in the United States for Black people to behave a certain way, or we get called out very quickly, particularly Black boys. And I always would like correct them when we were in public, when they were acting like kids, frankly. I never wanted my kids to be seen as bad. And so I resented the freedom that white kids had to just be wild. I still thought they were kind of bad, but the fact that they had the freedom, I resented that, right? I don't know why white people resent it. And that's something that they need to investigate. But I do believe greatly that a lot of white people are annoyed, agitated, resentful of Black joy. So I think that white people should work on that. I'm serious. Like, work with a therapist, do some personal deep diving and figure out why it agitates you. Is it our freedom? Is it jealousy? What is it? And then, for Black people, my directive would be have more joy. Agitate the fuck out of people. Joy is your right. You deserve it. And what I think is incredible is that we are able to find joy often in spite of. Keep on being happy. Keep on finding moments of joy. Enjoy each other. Smile and laugh. Laugh so much that people have to talk about it, like they did with Vice President Harris.
I've never answered a question like this before, and it cuts me up. Like, what did they have to tell you to make you hate us? So in Asian families, especially immigrant Asian families, we have our own version of a race talk. Mine was a Chinese family, and in our house, the talk sounded like soft racism, not like eugenics. There was never any insulting of Black intelligence or Black abilities or Black people. It was more practical than that. And it was all about safety. If you want to be safe, you have to align yourself with power. And if you want a piece of the American dream, you need to follow the money, follow the power, and that meant following the white brick road. My dad told me that I could marry a white man or a Chinese man, but preferably a white man and not a Black man. So what's unspoken there is that Asian men don't have much power either, and Black men have less, but white men have all the power. And me as an Asian girl had no power at all, that all of my power depended on a man. So it's not just soft racism, it's also soft sexism. And that is the model minority brainwash in a nutshell. It is based on a terrible dark side of the American dream that is anti-blackness. It cuts me to the core.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Paris, and today I'm going to be talking about Black joy. So we talked about radical hope earlier this week, and so now I want to touch on Black joy and how that is a radical act. So when we think about Black joy, it can really be a source of empowerment, it can be uplifting, and it can be affirming. Because oftentimes as Black folks, we experience so much dehumanization, and part of that dehumanization is this idea that we don't deserve joy, this idea that we cannot experience happiness, and society and these oppressive systems kind of try to make joy or happiness for us like inaccessible or difficult or challenging to do. And so being able to experience joy, being able to find joy even in the most oppressive circumstances is very empowering and is radical. And it's an act of survival and an act of resilience. So one of a quote I wanted to share from Cleaver Cruz, who is the founder of the Black Joy Project, kind of talks about how Black joy can exist as we are also understanding and navigating these systems. So they say Black joy is not dismissing or creating an alternate Black narrative that ignores the realities of our collective pain. Rather, it is about holding the pain and injustice in tension with the joy we experience. It's about using that joy as an entry into understanding the oppressive forces we navigate through as a means to imagine and create a world free of them. And so feel free to comment kind of your reaction or thoughts about this particular quote. Also, if you go on the National Museum of African American History and Culture, they have really a great article by Elaine Nichols about Black joy, its resistance, resilience, and reclamation. So feel free to check that out. But I would love to just hear your thoughts on Black joy, your thoughts on some ways that you might be able to experience Black joy this week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
All right, racists, let's talk about your distaste for Black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness, especially when that person smiling is Black. It's as if this country specializes in anger Olympics. Being a little too happy disturbs the patriotism. 3 or more laughs in one place is like being investigated by a mall cop. I'm gonna need to see some ID. Because deep down, they believe that pain is the only state that Black Indigenous people are allowed to live in. Black people start laughing too loud at their cousin's cookout. They throw on some Frankie Beverly. They start dancing with their auntie in a sundress while the ribs are sizzling. Instantly, their lives are in danger. It's like watching a perfect example of a case study on people who have a problem with control. It's like their obsession isn't just with control, it's like with the optics of it as well. They want to be seen as dominant in the space because they seem to disappear when there is Black joy. When you throw your graduation cap in the air, surrounded by your entire family in matching t-shirts, they don't see achievement, they see defiance. Because in their minds, success was never Black people's storyline. The truth is, Black joy is a glitch in the racist lies that they feed themselves. They built a whole myth of superiority that only works if you're miserable, delusional, insecure, jealous, and mediocre. When Black people shift the world with their joy and laughter, the racist's entire self-image starts to crack. This is why racists gatekeep golf courses, ban urban dress codes, side-eye loud laughter, and call the cops when the music's just a little too bassy. The unnecessary hate and determination to ruin Black people's happiness is a disease, a brain-eating amoeba that siphons the cognition out of America's privileged society. And what hurts the most is that happiness and Black joy is more infectious.
The fact that Black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me.
I saw this post a few days ago and I tried to ignore it, but I couldn't. The part that I can't ignore is, number one, you ask a question, so don't try to answer the question. You asked what is Black joy, and then you make a statement that Black joy comes from our survival or something of hardship that we turn into soul and joy, something of that nature. That is not where our Black joy, what Black joy is. Black joy comes from our connection, our melanin, which connects us to our pineal gland, our third eye, the source. That is where Black joy comes from. That is what our joy is. That is why in the midst of all the torture that we get put through in this country, from the very beginning to today, we can still find joy. It's not a survival technique. It is an innate part of who and what we are. We can pass that joy along to other people. We can pass that joy along to the people who harm us, because it comes from in here, connected to here. That's Black joy. You see, I had to wear my Black joy shirt today to answer this question, because I live in joy. And my life is not easy, because no Black person, I don't care how much they make it seem like it's easy, it's not easy being Black in this country.
I need some Black joy. The fact that Black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me. Asians are no good at joy. We are good at working hard and being diligent and doing our best, but not joy. Colonizers too. Rich lives, no joy. We should never have hooked our stars to theirs. But Black people, especially Black Americans, are the best at joy. You've turned it into an art form. I know it came from terrible hardship that you've turned into soul and then into joy. And we, Chinese people, we just turn that hardship into more hard work. But I know you can't give it to us. We have to go out and earn it for ourselves, just like you did. Joy is a puzzle for every human being, and it's not free. When I ask my Black friends where their joy comes from, they inevitably shake their heads and just repeat, "You can't let them take it away from you." That's what it's not. But what is Black joy? Can you tell me?
I think white people are so triggered by Black joy because they have zero control over it. And white people are all about control. And anything they don't get to control and manage and dictate, freaks them the hell out.
They don't get to be the leader.
I'm going to keep saying this with my whole chest because some people are not deep thinkers. I understand that you're not a critical thinker. This is not for you. This is just not for you. Scroll up. So, my point today is, well, not today, but at this moment, like, why does Black joy bother some white people? And some other groups, but majority is white people. And not all of you. You know what I'm talking about. You ever notice how the group of Black folks, like, they come together laughing, dancing, and just vibing, and suddenly it's labeled as too loud, too ghetto, or too much? Jealousy. Jealousy. You know why? Because they couldn't strip that away. And it's surviving. But let's be real. It's not about the volume that's the problem. It's the vibrations. It's the freedom. It's the fact that we can still find joy after centuries of trying to be stripped of who we are. We still make something out of nothing. You understand? See, Black joy is like disruptive in certain people. It challenges. And where we're supposed to be broken and angry and silent, it's like loving, living, and celebrating. So it's not just confusion. It's threatening to a certain group of people. Because Black joy, for us, is power, is resistance, it's healing, it's ancestral. Of all the things they said we could not do, it's lies. Remember, we were here way before other groups were here. And now our happiness is not a performance. It's reclaiming who we said we always were. So the next time somebody looks uncomfortable with your Black joy, remember that you're not the problem. They're just uncomfortable and can't believe that after all this time, we are still celebrating who we are and who we are meant to be and who we are growing to be. So tell me, have you ever felt like your joy made somebody else uncomfortable? Let's talk about it, y'all. To me, I don't give a flying fuck who feels uncomfortable. This is my life, my body, and if you feel uncomfortable, move the fuck away. Right? Because where I was for Black Bike Weekend, we were on the side, I'm not gonna say the grown folk side, but we like our peace. So of course, it was a mix of Black and white people. Like, we all around each other. We all talking to each other. You think anybody grabbed their purse because they see bikers in leather? No, they're used to it. They're talking, they're waving, they're like, oh, let me tell me about your bike, blah, 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 blah. These are people talking, not afraid and not jealous. There are some, but we didn't cross any this weekend, okay? But have y'all ever experienced that? Like, you having joy, you having celebration, especially with all the graduates. Did you see those comments talking about Black fatigue in the comments of Black joy celebrating the college? See, the point that I'm trying to get at is no one who doesn't, how can I say this? If you Black, you understand. It comes naturally, and it doesn't matter what state you from. We all have a common denominator of celebrating our Blackness, and people can't stand that. People can't stand that. And I'm not just talking about in America. If we go somewhere else, Black joy is celebrated different ways, but we still have that common denominator of celebrating of what we achieve regardless of the fact. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Anyway, happy Tuesday.
All right, so there we have it. According to me, my precise and simple definition of this Black joy, I can say it's the happiness that the Black community experience, especially after going through the hardship that we've been through, the slavery, all that, and yeah, they are just trying to celebrate their achievements, to be happy about themselves, of the Black community, and yeah, just to show happiness after going through a hard period of turmoil. So this does not sit well with some white folks, especially, as I had mentioned, the racist people who do not want to fathom the idea that Black people can excel in whatever they do, can do well in life, and I'm actually glad that more and more Black people are coming out to express their joy, to stand out for themselves, to speak up, and celebrate every small steps and little wins that they make in life. I understand that in the earlier years they were not allowed to do this by their masters, who were the colonizers. They were not. They were seen to be a lesser human being. Even right now, in some states, the way the Black folks are treated is not so good, and is not human. There is no humanity in the way they are treated. But then, despite all this, the women, the black women, the black men, the black Americans, the Africans, in Europe, in US, they are resilient and have been through this all. So this is just like some sort of celebration, to express their joy and all that, so that it doesn't hurt anybody to do that, really. So what does it mean to you? What does black joy mean to you? And just give me a brief of your thoughts on this whole thing, so that we can have a discussion around it. I understand that when Kamala Harris was vying to be the president of the US, there was a lot of hate directed towards her, and all that sort of mistreatment simply because she was black. But then, that is just some good example on how these things happen in the community, and people, especially the white folks, are not happy with the excellence of the black folks. And that is the good thing is they cannot do anything about it. Nobody can take away your joy from you. Nobody can take away your achievement, in as much as they might try use the system and all that to suppress you and try to limit you. They cannot take away your joy from you, because it's inbuilt and it's within. So to all black folks outside there, continue keeping up and being happy about all that, and just being you. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new to this channel, you came across it for the first time, please take a minute to like, subscribe and share, so that I can continue to produce more contents like this. And also those who are supporting the channel by likes, views, subscription, I really appreciate that. Those who have joined the channel membership, man, I see you, and I'm really grateful for that. Also the super chat, the thanks and all that, I see that, and I'm really appreciative of that. So that is it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.